जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी जय गोपीजन वल्लभ गिरिवरदारी जय गोपीजन वल्लभ गिरिवरदारी यशोदानंदन ब्रज जन रंजन यशोदानंदन ब्रज जन रंजन यमुना तीर वनचारी यमुना तीर वनचारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada. Jaya Vishnupada, Paramahamsa, Parikmacharya. All glories to the assembled devotees. Hare Krishna. All glories to the assembled devotees. Hare Krishna. All glories to the assembled devotees. Hare Krishna. All glories to Shri Guru and Gauranga. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimadi Tamal Krishna Goswamiti Namini. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimadi Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namini. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Vracharine Nirvisesha Shunyavadi Paschitade Satarine. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudirayet Nasta Praishu Abhatreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavate Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naistiki. So we're reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 10, Samam Bonam, Chapter 32, the reunion Text 21 and 22. 22 is the end of that chapter. So I will chant 21 and then we can chant together 22. Evam Evam mad ato jita loka veda swanam hivo mai anuvrittaye bala maya paroksham bhajatati rohitam masuyitam arhata tat priyam priya. My dear girls, understanding that simply for my sake you had rejected the authority of worldly opinion of the Vedas and of your relatives, I acted as I did only to increase your attachment to me. Even when I removed myself from your side by suddenly disappearing, I never stopped loving you. Therefore, my beloved gopis, please do not harbor any bad feelings toward me, your beloved. The purport here, the Lord indicates that though the gopis were already perfect in their love for Him, still to inconceivably increase their perfection and show an example for the world, He acted as He did. Text 22. That's today's on the board. Na paraye aham niravadya samyujam swasadu krityam vibuddha ayusha api va ya ma abhajan durjara gehe shrinkalaha samvrishya tad vaha pratiyatu sadhuna naparayeham niravadya samyujam naparayeham niravadya samyujam sasadu krityam vibudayusapi va swasadu krityam vibudayusapi va yamabhajam dujarageha shrinkala yamabhajam dujarageha shrinkala samvricya tadva pratiyatu sadhuna samvricya tadva pratiyatu sadhuna naparayeham niravadya samyujam swasadu krityam vibudayusapi va yamabhajam dujarageha shrinkala samvricya tadva pratiyatu sadhuna patiyatu sadhuna. Samyujam sasad krityam vivadayusa piva yama bhajandu jarageha shrinkala samrichyastadva pratiyatu sadhuna. Napareha niravadya samyujam tasadikrityam vivadayasa piva Yamabhajamdu jarageha shrinkala samrichya tadva pratiyatu sadhuna. Navareham niravadya samyujam sasadu krityam vivadayasa piva niravadya samyujam shrinkala samrishya tadva pratiyatu sadhuna. Niravadya samyujam swasadikrityam vivadayasa piva yamabhajamdu jarageya shrinkala tamrichya tattva pratiyatu sadhuna. Na, not, paraye, am able to make, aham, I, niravadya samyujam, to those who are completely free from deceit. Swasadukrityam, proper compensation. Vibhuda ayusa, with a lifetime as long as that of the demigods. Api, although, Vaha, to you, Yaha, who, Ma, me, Abhajan, have worshipped, Durjara, difficult to overcome, Geha Shrinkalaha, the chains of household life, Samrichya, cutting, Tad, that, Vaha, of you, Pratiyatu, let it be returned, Sadhuna, by the good activity itself. Translation and purport by the disciples of His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Prabhupada, the key. Translation. I am not able to repay my debt for your spotless service, even within a lifetime of Brahma. Your connection with me is beyond reproach. You have worshipped me, cutting off all domestic ties which are difficult to break. Therefore, please let your own glorious deeds be your compensation. Please repeat. I am not able to repay my debt for your spotless service, even within a lifetime of Brahma. Your connection with me is beyond reproach. You have worshipped me, cutting off all domestic ties which are difficult to break. Therefore, please let your own glorious deeds be your compensation. Purport. The translation and word meanings for this verse are taken from Srila Prabhupada's English rendering of Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita Adi 4:180. In conclusion, the gopis became eternally glorious by their behavior in the Lord's temporary absence, and the mutual love between them and the Lord was wonderfully enhanced. This is the perfection of Krishna and His loving devotees. Magyanatimrandasya jananjana shalakaya chakshuzanmilitamena tasmai shri guruve nama mukam karati vachalam Pangum langete girim yakrupadamam vande Shri Gurum Dinataranam Paramananda Madham Shri Chaitanya Ishwaram Shri Krishna Chaitanya Nityananda Savodito Gododaya Pushpavanto Chitra Sando Tamonudo. So this is the last verse of this chapter entitled The Reunion. Reunion means coming together. In Sanskrit it's sambhoga, or coming together. Particularly here, you find that in the beginning, because of the gopis' prayers, they wanting to be with Krishna and so on, Krishna allows that pastime to take place. So, in the full moon night, Sarad Purnima, right? Yeah. So he very carefully he decides this is the time. Yeah, he made a plan, and so he blows. He plays his flute, and therefore the gopis who are always thinking of Krishna are amazingly attracted. And if you remember, when Krishna plays his flute, each individual living entity, or all over the universe, including in the spiritual world, they all hear that Krishna is speaking to them or calling out to them. That's how amazing this flute potency is. And so the gopis all heard that, and they all heard Krishna calling to them. How that is, we do not know. But also, if you have read Prabhupada's books, you will see also there is where he discusses where the hunter, when he wants to get the deer, they play the music or flute, and the deers are stunned. So from that you can understand also when Krishna plays, He doesn't just stun 1 or 2%. The entire creation is stunned. But here particularly, he was playing the flute just for the gopis. And we've heard the different types of gopis, and they all were attracted, and they all left whatever they were doing. Some of them were even locked by their brothers and their husbands, but they gave up their body, meaning they left with their spiritual or astral body to meet Krishna at the place where he was playing the flute. So one can say he instigated that. Krishna instigated that. But there's a reason why he did that. So when they all came there were what? How many gopis? Millions and billions of gopis. That's also unimaginable. So from a mundane point of view, we can say that's just a mythology or whatever. But who's the Supreme Lord? He is inconceivable. Inconceivable means we cannot understand how he does these things, how he can attract billions of people, how everyone can be at the same place, just like we read that the Kurukshetra, how big is Kurukshetra? Yeah, like Delhi size. But then there were 650 million warriors who were supposed to have gone there and be killed. So it's inconceivable. We can't understand. But it is said that the spiritual potency is such that it can allow, or maybe the good example is, how many of you know of Doctor Who? Doctor Who, there's a science fiction, very popular in the 60s and 70s. So he has this time traveling machine, and it's like a phone booth. Yeah? Have you seen phone booth nowadays? You don't see it even outside. Everyone has their own phone. But anyway, it's the size of a phone booth, for one person who stand in. So, but when you go inside in Doctor Who's so-called police phone booth, it is a huge, it's as big as this temple room. So it's inconceivable how that can be manifested. So in the same way, when Krishna was calling out on the gopis, he manifested his inconceivable potency. So he could accommodate as many gopis there were. And then when they were there, they wanted to dance, and so he danced. But he only danced for a short while. And then he suddenly left all of them. Well, he took one of them. And in any case, the point is he left all of them. And so he called them, they got together, then he suddenly left. And then the gopis were feeling great separation. And then finally, at this point, they were all, he comes because of their prayers, the Gopi Gita. They pray with their hearts and capture him. And so he cannot run away anymore. So he comes. So when he comes, this is what he's telling them after, listening to their prayers. He says, I can't repay you. I want to actually give you some indication, because Srila Prabhupada has actually described this in the Chaitanya Charitamrita about different ways the gopis come together, the mood, the emotions and so on. So this is in Madhya Leela, chapter 23, Life's Ultimate Goal. He's speaking to Sanatan Goswami. So text 62. In conjugal love, Shringara, there are two departments, meeting and separation. On the platform of meeting, there are unlimited varieties that are beyond description. So then Prabhupada in the purport talks about this separation from Ujjvala Nilamani, which was written by Rupa Goswami. Okay. When the lover and the beloved meet, they are called yukta, connected. Previous to their meeting, they are called ayukta, not connected. So that's separation. Whether connected or not connected, the ecstatic emotion arising due to not being able to embrace and kiss each other as desired is called vipralamba. That is the separation. So this Vipralamba is what our acharyas, particularly Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, came to teach us. This Vipralamba helps nourish emotions at the time of meeting. So the intensity, and then when they meet, it just blossoms. So that is the Vipralamba. So Sambhoga is when they are coming together. Similarly, Sambhoga is described in the following verse. Meeting each other and embracing each other are aimed at bringing about the happiness of the lover and the beloved. When this stage becomes increasingly jubilant, the resultant ecstatic emotion is called Sambhoga. When awakened, Sambhoga is divided into 4 categories. Purva Raga Anantara, after Purva Raga, attachment prior to meeting. Sambhoga is called brief. Then the second one, Mana Anantara, after Mana means anger based on love, Sambhoga is called encroached. Kinchit Dura Pravasa Anantara, after being a little distance away for some time, Sambhoga is called accomplish. Sudura Pravasa Anantara, after being far away, Sambhoga is called perfection. So it all depends on the separation aspect, how much they are separated. The meetings of the lovers in dreams also have these 4 divisions. That's interesting. Why I'm reading this is many times you'll hear people say Prabhupada did not explain many things, Prabhupada didn't give us the full thing. But look at this. These are very detailed, very ecstatic aspects of the loving relationship with Krishna and the gopis. Text 63. Vipralamba has 4 divisions: Purva Raga, Mana, Pravasa and Prema Vaichitya. Purva Raga is described in Ujjvala Nilamani. When attachment produced in the lover and beloved before their meeting by seeing, hearing and so on becomes very palatable by the mixture of 4 ingredients such as Vibhava and Anubhava, this is called Purva Raga. Now Vibhava and Anubhava are different emotions that they display. Then the word Mana is a word used to indicate the mood of the lover and the beloved experienced, whether they are in one place or in different places. This mood abstracts they are looking at each other and embracing each other, despite the fact that they are attached to each other. Then the other one, Pravasa, is a word used to indicate the separation of lovers who were previously intimately associated. This separation is due to their being in different places. And then finally, Prema Vaichitya is a word used to indicate an abundance of love that brings about grief from fear of separation, although the lover is present. So that one is like the example of Prem Sarovara, the creation. When both Radha and Krishna were together, they were side by side, they were lying down. At that time, a bumblebee came and then it disturbed Radharani. So then Madhu Mangal chased the bumblebee. And then having chased, he was very happy because he thought he has helped Radha and Krishna to be peaceful. So he said, I've chased Madhu away, I've chased Madhu. So when Radharani heard that, for her Madhu means Krishna. So immediately she started crying, even though Krishna was next to her, right? And so she's crying like anything. Then Krishna opens his eye and says, why are you crying? And he starts crying. So together they start crying, and there they create that lake called Prema Sarovara, right? So even though they are together, they feel so much separation still. Now, it's very hard to understand. So, which is why I am very cautious, and I feel this chapter should be properly referred to from the previous acharyas, or particularly I think Srila Prabhupada. And Srila Prabhupada tries to help us understand our position in relation to the gopis also. In the next verse, Prabhupada writes, in the translation of Krishna Raj Kaviraj, of the 4 kinds of separation, 3, Purvaraga, Pravasa and Mana, are celebrated in Srimati Radharani and the gopis. In Dwaraka, among the queens, feelings of prema, vaichitya are very prominent. So these are not, we can't say we have this. Okay, we can't even imagine, So it is very important to appreciate this in the proper aspect. Otherwise, I feel we have a tendency to think that, I'm also having some Purva Raga, and I'm also experiencing all those things. No, we can't. Now, I also want to read from Adi Leela, 160, to show you the complexity of even actually trying to comprehend these aspects, and also how we can't really appreciate Krishna also. Let me read from 150-60. Adi chapter 4. No, let me read 158 also. Alright, let's go 157. We can keep going. Anyway, 157. The sweetness of Lord Krishna is unprecedented, and its strength is also unprecedented. Now, there's 2 things, sweetness and the strength of that sweetness. And then, simply by one's hearing of such beauty, the mind becomes unsteady. That's far out, no? Just like when we look at the deity darshan, when we take the darshan, we should appreciate the beauty, appreciate the sweetness there. Try to see that. Yeah? That's how, this is all given by Srila Prabhupada for our purification, to come to this level of feeling separation. Ultimately, we have to feel that separation from Krishna. Then text 158. Lord Krishna's own beauty attracts Lord Krishna himself. Similar, Balaram also is like that. But let me read again. Lord Krishna's own beauty attracts Lord Krishna himself. What to speak of any other living entity when they see Krishna? So much beauty, so much. And not like when you look in the mirror, you get attracted to yourself. There's something wrong then, Our body is bags full of pus, stool, semen, blood. This is different. But because he cannot fully enjoy it, how is that possible? Because he is inconceivable. So in some ways, they describe the Supreme or God as infinite or infinite. So he can enjoy, and then again he cannot enjoy. Then he enjoys. One time someone was asking Prabhupada, can God create something that he cannot lift? Jai Shri Shri Radha Nila Madhava ki Jai Shri Shri Radha Giridhari Shri Giri Govardhan ki Shri Sintai Chetan Chandra Shri Sintai Gaura Chandra Shri Guru Parampara ki Jai. So they asked Prabhupada, can Krishna create or God create something heavy that he cannot lift? Then Prabhupada said, yes. Then the person who asked the question thought he was very smart. So he was like, oh, okay, he's smiling. Then Prabhupada said, then he'll come in another incarnation and lift it. It's inconceivable, not possible to understand this. So here in the same way, but because he cannot fully enjoy it, his mind remains full of sorrow. He's thinking how to enjoy this. This is a connection. There's a connection here, and I want to connect that. This is a description of his second desire that Krishna has, and it leads to the third desire. It says, anyone else, okay, this conclusion of rasa is extremely deep. Only Swarup Damodar knows about it. There's only a few, Ramananda Roy, Swarup Damodar, Sikhi Maiti, and his wife, I think. So 3.5, huh? 3.5, yeah. And then text 1. Anyone else who claims to know it must have heard it from him, from Swarup Damodar. For he was the most intimate companion of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. The love of the gopis is called Ruddha Bhava. It is pure and spotless. It is not at any time lust. So this connects with these chapters that we are dealing with. It's not lusty feelings of the gopis. It's very important. We have to appreciate these things. Oftentimes when Prabhupada was asked about the gopis' Leela, he'd say, yes, it's a young boy running to kiss and embrace young girls. And then he said, but people will think it is sex, mundane sex desires and fulfillment of mundane. So therefore, he never touched on it. Srila Prabhupada never touched, because we are not qualified. We will invariably get into that mood of thinking, oh, this is young boy and young girl. Prabhupada writes in the purport, as already explained, the position of the gopis in their loving dealings with Krishna is transcendental. That means it is not mundane, not material loving affairs. Their emotion is called Ruddha Bhava. Although it is apparently like mundane sex, one should not confuse it with mundane sexual love, for it is pure and unadulterated love of Godhead. How to understand this? Right? How to understand this? When we can say, oh yeah, no, the best way to understand is follow Srila Prabhupada's teachings, what he has given us, the separation. For us, what is the separation? That when we go and sleep in the night, we are not with Krishna at the temple. That is the separation. That's the beginning of the day, the separation. So then the meeting is when Mangala Arati. You run. Like Sarvabhauma Prabhu. You run to the temple to meet. That is, and then Sambhoga happens when we are singing. And then again the curtain closes, because Krishna then disappears. And then the Shringara Arati starts. That is the reunion. In all cases, we are always participating. Srila Prabhupada has given it. We don't need to know high philosophy or esoteric topics. You don't need it. Just follow his thing. The determination to get up, the difficulties that you have, that is the austerities. That is the mood also. The gopis take those austerities for Krishna. It is a selfless act. We are not doing it for ourselves. We want to please Krishna. And then we come running to show Krishna, I am here. Are you happy? Not that, I am here, Krishna, can you see me? I am giving you my darshan after a long time. So that's a difference here. It's a very important for us to understand this, because always people say Prabhupada didn't give us all these things. It is already given. According to your level of advancement, you will see these things. It happens. It opens your heart. And the joy is filled in your heart. It's like a vessel. And as it fills up, you cannot contain it anymore. It overflows after a while. Alright, so Srila Prabhupada continues in this translation. The pure love of the gopis has become celebrated by the name lust. Okay, so they use the word lust. The dear devotees of the Lord, headed by Sri Uddhava, desire to taste that love. This is from Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. Lust and love have different characteristics, just as iron and gold have different natures. Therefore, we need to differentiate sexual love and pure love. There are different categories. The desire to gratify one's own senses is lust or kama. But the desire to please the senses of Lord Krishna is prema. So this we have to always remember, because whenever we act, we have to see, who am I acting for? Am I trying to please myself, or am I trying to please the devotees of Krishna? As long as you please the devotees, the spiritual master and Krishna, you are safe. But as long as you think, I'm I'm pretty cool. I did it. I'm good. That even a tinge of that thought comes, then you should immediately pray for forgiveness, pray for protection, because we are fallen. Easily we get, if somebody comes and tells you, you're so good devotee, immediately we think we are very good. Immediately, but if you keep training the way Prabhupada gave, you may think for a moment that you're good, then immediately you feel regret. Why am I thinking like that? All glories to my spiritual master. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. All glories to Sri Krishna, who has kindly given me these qualities like that. When we continue to think like that, that automatically, Srila Prabhupada also mentions in one case where they were talking about, one disciple was saying, but Prabhupada, Krishna stole butter, he stole the garments, so he did all this. So we also can steal for Krishna. And Prabhupada said, no, we shouldn't do that. We should just follow the instructions of the Acharya. We are not Krishna. Then he said, Trinadapi Sunichena. Take the humble position. We should always not put ourselves in the position of Krishna. One way or another we will act like Krishna. Because by nature we are part and parcel of Krishna. Therefore we also have such qualities. But very, 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 under microscope we can see, then yes, that quality is similar. That's our nature. But we want to imitate Krishna sometimes. So karma and prema has to be understood very carefully. Then when we read these chapters, we will get some understanding. Actually, according to all the acharyas, these chapters all should be heard from a higher devotee. Not from our class, we are all ordinary class devotees. Yes, so we have been asked to read, we are reading, but we are only repeating what Srila Prabhupada is saying. So, the scriptures describe pure love. If there is ample reason for the dissolution of a conjugal relationship, and yet such a dissolution does not take place, such a relationship of intimate love is called pure. Okay. The predominated gopis were bound to Krishna in such pure love. For them, there was no question of sexual love based on sense gratification. Very important. They were not doing it for themselves. They were purely doing it for the personality of Godhead. Their only engagement in life was to see Krishna happy in all respects, regardless of their own personal interests. So which you look at this verse, and the previous verse, you can see how they abandoned their family. They gave up everything. And the actions according to what? You had rejected the authority of worldly opinion. People will say, what kind of woman are you, running away to some other boy in the forest? So Krishna says, you did all this because you want to please me. From mundane point, people who don't know who Krishna is, this may seem like a bad situation. But it is important for us as practitioners of Krishna consciousness to appreciate Krishna's position first properly. And then we understand the gopis' love for Krishna properly. Then reading this or hearing this makes ample sense. Ultimately, in reading these few chapters, we should come to the conclusion that we are not at all qualified. We are really fallen. Not fallen, very fallen. Very, very fallen. We can't even do these things. And we can't even come for simple seva. Sometimes we ask for, come on, we need volunteers for this project. Then nobody wants to come. And then they want to talk about high philosophy. It's a joke, It's so uncomfortable, and then when some devotees who are more mature, they do the service, then you can appreciate these people have some taste. You have to appreciate, and then if you want to have that taste, you serve them. And if they say do this, you accept that. Not argue with them or give a thesis of why you did this, No, our surrender should be in that aspect. We grow in serving another devotee, in taking a humble position. This is, our whole movement is not a branding movement. We are not branding, oh, you're a devotee, you first, second initiate. No, this is not the reason why we are doing. We all want to develop this pure love of Godhead. Somehow or other. Prabhupada said, go back to Godhead. Somehow or other we have to go back. By pleasing one another, developing this love. So when we read this, then we can appreciate a semblance, or a very, very faint semblance. Oh, okay, this is close enough, But still, I do not know what they are talking about. What is this between Krishna and the gopis? So again, Srila Prabhupada writes, and he says, the author of Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita asserts with authority that sexual love is a matter of personal sense enjoyment. All the regulative principles in the Vedas pertaining to desires for popularity, fatherhood, wealth, and so on are different phases of sense gratification. Okay, different phases. So whatever we do, we buy a property, this, that, everything is sense gratification until we come to this thing. Acts of sense gratification may be performed under the cover of public welfare, nationalism, religion, altruism, ethical codes, biblical codes, health directives, fruitive action, bashfulness, tolerance, personal comfort, liberation from material bondage, progress, family affection, or fear of social ostracism or legal punishment, but all these categories are different subdivisions of one substance, sense gratification. That's very nice, no? So this is in verse 165. You can go back and read that. Prabhupada continues, all such good acts are performed basically for one's own sense gratification, for no one can sacrifice his personal interest while discharging these much advertised moral and religious principles. But above all, this is a transcendental stage in which one feels himself to be only an eternal servitor of Krishna, the absolute personality of Godhead. All acts performed in this sense of servitude are called pure love of God because they are performed for the absolute sense gratification of Sri Krishna. However, any act performed for the purpose of enjoying its fruits or results is an act of sense gratification. Such actions are visible sometimes in gross and sometimes in subtle forms. So in subtle forms, a few weeks ago, Prasanatma was asking me a pratishta. So there's three types of subtle sense gratification: puja, labha, and pratishta. This comes about when we are doing bhakti yoga. They are very subtle. So you do chanting and then people say, oh, you're so wonderful, you are chanting, you give up all this thing. So then we are like, yes, please continue continue saying how good I am. So they want us to be worshipped. They want people to worship. I'm this position there. So that puja comes in. It's very subtle. You do not know. You're thinking you're doing correctly. And yes, they are worshipping me. Yes, I'm helping them. Yes. But the root is growing and the bhakti lata is being killed with the weeds growing, the puja. So then you go to some home, then you expect to be respected. Hey, I'm in the movement 30 years, 40 years. Where's my puja? That's puja. Then the labha. Labha means gains. What are the gains? So the devotee is doing a lot, and he's thinking, well, some people give him, take some donation for yourself. Then you're thinking, I deserve it. I'm such a wonderful devotee of Krishna, and this person is giving me some. And then next time you are expecting labha. I thought these people are supposed to give me. Shouldn't I deserve it? I've given up everything. Now they should give me something. So this labha attitude takes place. And then finally, the most dangerous one is pratishtha. Pratishtha is honoring, distinction. Oh, you're such a wonderful devotee, You please sit down here. All this honor we are expecting. It's so subtle, but it is contaminating. It contaminates in such a case that we cannot actually perform pure devotional service anymore. This is like the last snare. And then finally, we are expecting all three so much. If we don't do pure devotional service, we end up thinking, I am God. You may not say it, but you are actually doing it. I am God. So why they not? And then for those who are not doing devotional bhakti, they become impersonalists. They want to merge. All these are very subtle and very difficult to identify. So how do we get rid of this? We should always serve devotees, serve the authorities. Ask, what can I do for you? So in one letter to Hayagriva, Srila Prabhupada said, to overcome all these lusty feelings and so on, he says, you can read the Rasa Leela, and then by remembering that, your lusty feelings will go away. And then he also says, one should also do deity worship and so on. So deity worship allows you to overcome lusty feelings in your heart also. So if you have free time, you should say, let me come and do some deity seva. If you can't go on the altar, doesn't mean you cannot do. You can do so many other activities connected to Krishna in the temple. Ample opportunity, but mostly people come, rush in and rush out, like a rush hour. If you want to rush, then there is no connection with Krishna. Now in deity worship, it says you do quickly, but it doesn't say you rush quickly. Quickly means you make sure everything is systematic, so you do quickly. Rush means there's no system. Rush means it's centered, self-centered. I want to get out of this place. So if you want to get out of Vrindavan, this temple, the altar is Sanctum Sanctorium, and it is Goloka Vrindavan inside. And if you want to run away, then you have a problem again. That means you don't understand some things. That's one thing. But if you want to stay there and do your own thing, also is a problem. Because then you are stopping Krishna and Radha and the deities to have their own Leela on the altars. Some devotees want to stay there the whole day. That is not correct also. Respect must be there also. So these actions are visible sometimes in gross and sometimes in subtle forms. Our lack of understanding and worship and so on. So the gopis level is different. It's transcendental. We cannot pretend to say that we know or even explain it. It's not possible. Srila Prabhupada has oftentimes refused to talk about Rasa Leela, which is the next chapter. From tomorrow we'll hear the Rasa dance. What is Rasa dance? Okay, like that. Now, these feelings of the gopis, even Krishna could not accept or understand. And therefore he says, na parayaham. How can I repay you? What is that? This is gratitude. These are qualities we have to develop, which we can develop. Gratitude. Who are we going to be grateful to? Srila Prabhupada, your spiritual master, or whoever helped you in your Krishna consciousness. Jai Shri Shri Radha Nilamadhar, Shri Shri Radha Giridhari, Giri Govardhan, Nath Ki Jai, Shri Shri Nitai Chaitanya Chandra, Shri Shri Nitai Gaura Chandra, Shri Guru Parampara Ki Jai. Devotees who have helped you, you have to become grateful. You have to learn gratefulness. It's very important for us to appreciate this. So Sri Krishna is feeling that, but he doesn't know how to pay. Your spiritual master has given you a connection to Krishna, Guru Parampara. How to pay? You cannot pay these things. Not possible. The only way we can do is we have to serve them with our hearts. We give up everything. Become vulnerable to their instructions, to Sri Prabhupada's instructions. So Krishna feels that way now. So how he is going to relish it? He takes the mood of Srimati Radharani. Because the three things he says he could not understand. He could not understand how glorious Radha's love is for him. He says, I've tried many ways, but I still cannot appreciate her love for me. So I have to taste this. I've taken different incarnations, but I cannot come to that stage, he says. So I have to take her mood. Then the second one, he says, is the wonderful quality she finds in me. How am I going to see what my qualities is? Now, most of us can, but Krishna couldn't. So therefore, he came in the mood of Srimati Radharani. And final thing is, he says, she feels so much happiness when she realizes my sweetness. So I want to feel that happiness also. It is said that the joy that Krishna feels when during this Sambhoga event, when Krishna met the gopis, he felt great happiness. But the gopis felt, according to Chaitanya Charitamrita, millions of times as much as he felt. How is that possible? He is the Supreme Lord. So it is said that because he is in their hearts also, he allows them to taste more than he can. But it's a competition. So he feels more happy seeing them happy. So then when they see him happy, they feel more happy. So when they are happy, he feels more happy. So this is Anandam Buddhi Vardhanam. So how do you get that happiness? Go out and do book distribution. Or preach to somebody. This Sankirtan Yajna. This is our philosophy. This is how you appreciate Mahaprabhu's mood. How you appreciate Sri Krishna's mood with the gopis. There's no other way. There's no other way. There's no other way. Prabhupada says chant. You can come to that stage. So one time, Yadurani, one of the artists, some of these paintings are done by her. So she saw this painting of Rasa Leela in the Krishna book, and it was done by Mother Devahuti. She drew it from a picture Srila Prabhupada copied from an old Indian artist. So based on that, she drew the Rasa Leela dancing in the Krishna book. So then Srila Prabhupada was pleased with that. So then Yadurani is also an artist. She also wanted to, please. And so she said, I will do better than this. I'll be better. That's what, she's saying in a conversation. I'll do much better than this. So then she got some 15 devotees and one Prabhu devotees. And then they went to a park and they all danced. So they took pictures. So based on that picture, she drew and painted a painting. With all the gopis and Krishna, and then she brought it with Rameshwar Prabhu brought it and said, Prabhupada, we want to replace the previous picture with this one. This is much nicer. So Prabhupada was sitting in a balcony. Then he looked. He had the picture of Devahuti's picture on his. He looked up there. Then he looked at this picture and he said, "This is all hippie." He said, "Which is more beautiful, look at the hair in this picture," because here the Jadurani son, all the hair was flying. So he said, this is hippie seeds and the hippie, and they are all rascals who did this. So Jadurani was very embarrassed like that, So Prabhupada said, how can you think this is better, And then he got very angry. Prabhupada, when Gurudev, my spiritual master, also told me that when Prabhupada gets angry, he starts to shake. So he got very angry. He said, "Get out from here, all of you," like that, Yeah. So they wanted to, you can see simply even in a picture drawing of the Rasa Leela, Prabhupada got so disturbed. What to speak? We are all not fighting day in and day out to control our senses and the mind. Mana sastani indriyani prakriti stani karshati. Difficult, our situation. And yet here we are, so we should be very careful. And that is where I come from. I want to caution all of us that when we read this, try to read it or listen to some authority who who is very well situated in their Krishna consciousness. And when you hear that, it will purify you much easily. Hearing from us, I doubt it. Maybe some mundane morality may be there, but that's about it. So I'll stop here. Comments, questions, corrections. You're free to say. Yes, Prabhu. Oh, that is Ram Giridhari Prabhu. Tomorrow he'll give the Bhagavatam class, which more insights. Please, Prabhu. Hold on, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Prabhu. I just had a small question or clarification. How do you differentiate between puja and pratishtha? Because they both, the way you explained, look similar. So how do you exactly classify what is puja, what is pratishtha? I had a different understanding.
Oh, well, let's hear your understanding.
Well, my understanding was puja is about adoration and pratishtha is about position. I mean, kind of...
honor, distinction.
Yeah, so I would like to have a specific position and not to compare with anybody else. So I just want to have more insights from you on that.
I think that's pretty good definition. Adoration is the thing, for puja. You want people to come and adore you like Krishna. So you define that properly, And pratishtha is more of a position,
Thank you, Prabhu.
Pratishtha for them is, yes, I am Krishna,
Yes.
And puja is, you should worship me like Krishna, like that.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Just to follow up on the same thing, that puja and pratishtha. So His Holiness Giriraj Swami Maharaj in one of his classes, of course it's a different topic, but I thought I just wanted to take your input on that. So he was saying that when we worship, there was a discussion about worshipping Lord Shiva versus worshipping Krishna. So he said worshipping any demigods is in the form of puja, but worshipping Krishna is in the form of bhakti or seva.
Okay.
So my question was that, like we discussed among devotees, where, want to be worshipped, you want to be honored. But when we worship the deity, that also can be a puja or, right? When it may not be out of seva, it can be puja too, right?
No, well, if you are on the altar doing puja and then thinking everyone is looking at me, that is the self-puja, and pratishtha, position. But the whole idea is we are doing it for the pleasure of Krishna, Instead of being self-aware, you should be Krishna, aware of Krishna. The whole idea is to be conscious of who I'm doing for, why I'm doing for. I think basic fundamental things should be built in Krishna consciousness. From the very first day, this mood has to be there. We are doing it for Krishna, not for ourselves. For me personally, my Guru Maharaj is very expert at that. He will cut you from the day one. First day you meet only, he'll smash you, and until the last day he will keep smashing you. So you have no chance to have puja, labha and pratishtha. If you have even some labha, he'll take it from you. Right, Shamsundar?
But it could be also when we worship the deity, it could be that we are praying for something that we want.
But that's different, no? Praying to Krishna for Krishna consciousness, for bhakti is acceptable. That is Krishna consciousness. But praying to Krishna for material things, that is not acceptable. I remember one time I wrote a letter to my Guru Maharaj asking for something, and then I sent it. It was an email. So I sent it. As soon as I sent, I realized it was wrong. Because I asked for something from him, for something material, So I regretted so much. And sure enough, he sent me an email saying these things that he will not do, and like that. He was explaining. So it has to be always be for others. But again, remember, Prabhupada writes in Chaitanya Charitamrita, even social activity, social welfare work for others is considered material. So it must be, spiritual means connected to Krishna. Nirbandha Krishna Sambandhe. It has to be. That means devotees. Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
Krishna Prabhu. See, we have got, most of us got a tendency to advise Krishna, do this. How to overcome this? Because we are sometimes doubting Krishna's intelligence. We are thinking Krishna is not doing properly to me. If we would have done this, I would have been better. How to overcome this tendency? It's not only Krishna, but superior also, authority.
Yeah. It's because they are not doing service, firstly. They are doing it for them. It's all based on selfish position and so on. Just like the other day, I heard one pujari I heard from someone. The one pujari told another pujari that something was wrong for Krishna. So the person said that is Krishna's karma. How is that possible? How can they say that? How can Krishna have karma? So this is the level, which means they haven't studied Srila Prabhupada's book, they haven't done proper service to devotees. Many times we have to go to a senior devotee and say, let me serve you, let me do some service for you. If that attitude is not cultivated, we will never come to this position. We will question Krishna, like you say, Krishna, who do you think you are, like that. You take the position of the Pandavas, they never did that. Not a single time. Yeah. So, service attitude must be there. There's so much service to do. Come and serve the devotees. When Maharajas, sannyasis come, only 1 or 2 people running around every time. And all the old folks, 60-year-olds and 70-year-olds running, serving. All the young guys, where are they? Where are the young devotees? So that means they haven't understood the philosophy. They're not reading Prabhupada's book. They're not coming to serve. They're all serving themselves. Education is important. They should come and study the books properly. Then these things will be ingrained. If not through the books, physically we will ingrain also. Take a stick and beat them. Anyone else? Yes, Prabhu, he has so much experience with all these things. He can give a very nice...
I was reading Art of Transformation book by Sachinandan Swami.
Okay.
And the main goal of our life, Maharaj was saying, is to always remember Krishna, never forget Krishna. All other principle is subservient to this main principle. And Maharaj made a wonderful point that as long as you have any tinge of material desire, you won't be able to remember Krishna.
That's it. That's it. So you can see the standard is very high. But to remember Krishna, you have to again come and serve the devotees. It's a fact. You serve devotees, you will end up thinking of Krishna, because the devotees will be so... the way they treat us, we will have to remember Krishna. Sometimes they'll... Right? You will remember Krishna. Either good or bad, you will remember Krishna. Anyone else who want to add to this nice discussion? Yeah. Sister or wife? No, not Madhavi. Anyway, it's there, 3.5. Yeah, I do not know I can't remember at the moment here. Yes, Prabhu.
No, Prabhu, thank you. Nice class. And you talked about the intimate pastimes. Then, some outsiders, mundane people try to relate or compare things. I was just thinking, let them feel, a spoon of tears, when you talked about the, feeling Radha and Krishna feel the Sarovar, Prem Sarovar. Let them do that, and then you can compare So that's the realization I got. So thank you very much. Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah. Okay. Thank you very much. Grantara Srimad Bhagavatam ki, Srila Prabhupada ki, Gaura